Hello, Southern Cameroonians, my dear brave warriors of our liberation movement. Accept liberation greetings from me, Comrade John Akuro, today. This day is Friday, the 18th of February 2022. My people, I'm coming today with news that it is time for each and every one of us to rise up and ask the right questions that need to be asked. Weigh the answers, ask more questions, and get enough guarantees that you're getting the right answers. My people, I say so because we're at a stage in this movement right now that some people are afraid that we are on the wrong track. Some are trying to get discouraged, while others are simply thinking maybe it is time to get off the movement. But the good news is that a huge majority of Ambazonians, of Southern Cameroonians, still believe very strongly that we are closer to victory than ever before, and that the things that are happening now in our liberation movement are the things that happen to every movement when it's getting towards the end result. It is true that we should not just comfort ourselves with the notion that that is how it has happened to other movements and it was just then that they were able to overcome. There are movements, there are liberation struggles that got to this point and effectively crashed, and the people had to do it all over again. If you doubt, ask the people of East Timor. They got to that point. But the good luck and the good news, my people, is that we still have the possibility, the opportunity to recalibrate. We still have the chance to re-strategize and be able to attain our objective this round. We don't need another round. We had rounds before, but this particular round is and should be the ultimate round. My people, I come here today to point out that there are certain things we should not do, no matter how bad the situation, no matter how confused we have grown. There are certain things we should not do. For example, celebrating the demise of our own brave hearts. That is the worst thing that anyone should do. I want to take the opportunity at this point to extend my heartfelt sympathy to the LRC, not only to the LRC, to the people of the Southern Cameroons as a whole, to all of us, to every Ambazonian, regarding what happened to comrades Ebube, Ezemo, and others at Alabukam in Bamenda. Even if they identified with the LRC or ADF, they are first and foremost Southern Cameroonians, and what they were doing was standing for Southern Cameroons. There is none of us who is infallible. We all make mistakes, and all of us are therefore liable in one way or the other to errors that we have committed, either deliberately or simply because we did not know. But we should not define anyone on basis of some few shortcomings and ignore the great job, the brave work that they have been doing for us in this liberation movement. Anyone at any time that has carried himself or herself right to the front to fight for the freedom of the people of the Southern Cameroons deserves to be hailed. That is why, in this circumstance, I'm extending heartfelt sympathy not only to the LRC family, but to all of us. Of course, I've been talking to our people in Bamenda, it was a very sad moment, and everyone was down because people felt we have all been touched. But unfortunately, in the diaspora, some of us take delight to go and celebrate that because they were not with us and they were with him or with her or with that group or this other one, what has happened there is their cup of tea. My goodness, what has come over us? What is happening to us? My people of the Southern Cameroons, our young brave hearts are showing to us by the day that the way to go is to embrace love, is to embrace concord, is to embrace synergy and some degree of harmony as we operate. Along the line, they will face vicissitudes. Just like I saw a video before coming to this broadcast in Babesi, and I could see La République du Cameroon talks all joy and celebrating. And some will share gleefully and say, look at No Pity, his unity warriors. Look at what is happening to them. If only they were under us. My people, we have to very hurriedly, I mean very hurriedly, abandon such attitudes. It will not take us anywhere. It will not advance our cause. Such attitudes will only hold us back. Will only continue to plant confusion in our midst. My people of the Southern Cameroons, we must come to the realization at this point that it will be as it was in the beginning, one for all for one, before we get to our destination. If we had already started abandoning that thought, if we had already abandoned it completely, for those who have abandoned it, it is time to re-embrace it. Re-embrace this mantra, one for all for one. This is how we will be able to overcome. This is how we will win. Right now, at this point in time, our brother No Pity is facing all kinds of difficulties. His entire family, his mother, father, uncles, aunts, brothers, and sisters are right at the moment I'm talking now, facing very unacceptable conditions at the said. Yet, he hasn't given up on the Southern Cameroons. What about you? Because someone insulted you, you decided you are giving up on your dream of a free Southern Cameroons. What about you? Because someone had scratched you, you decide that you will become against our movement and even collaborate and cooperate with the oppressor to show our positions and cause them to bring us pain simply because you were a bit scratched. But that is our brother No Pity. Everything about him, including even his former girlfriend with her child, are facing all kinds of torture. Yet, he is standing for the flag of Ambazonia. He is continuing to be strong to fight for the flag of the Southern Cameroons. What should we do to assist? That is a question you should be asking yourself. What can I do to be of help? What can I do to boost his morale at this point in time when perhaps he should be low? He and all those brave hearts around him. This is not the time for us to engage in the game of mockery or in the game of power. This is the time for us to rather call one another, motivate each other, console each other when there is need for consolation, and fire up each other when there is need to fire up ourselves, so that we should continue to believe and trust in our quest for freedom. Our people on ground zero are not wavering. They are not giving up. They are not giving up. They have never given up. And from the look of things, they don't ever intend to give up. But in the diaspora, we are showing the wrong example. Let me take another point or another case in point. Because there was a misunderstanding between our brother, FM of Lebialem, and our other brother, FM No Pity. What did some of us do? Jump into the middle and reinforce the misinformation. Because of course, FM of the BLM made all the audios he made, sent out all the threats he sent because of the information he had at his level, because of what was told him. And I can see that the airwaves have gone quiet from the moment our brother No Pity sent out the video. The particular video that caused him to act the way he acted. Everybody's quiet because we now all say he was justified in his action. But if only we can dare to pick up the phone and make a call to verify before we go out sending stupid audios, we will spare ourselves all that trouble. If only we will communicate among ourselves and not only bear in mind the intention to calumnize, bear in our minds the intention to run down, or the intention to mock, or the intention to celebrate over the mishaps of some of us, we will be able to overcome this particular challenge. The challenge of just getting up and saying things and realizing later just how wrong we were. My people of the Southern Cameroons, rather than build the bridges and mend fences between our two brothers who are sacrificing enormously for us, what did we do? We jumped in and tried to amplify it. And then again, as if that was not enough, someone jumped in lately, recorded an audio, and claimed he was talking to one of our comrades, Capo Daniel, and say, you see, because there's confusion in the Sakolet IG, let's take advantage of this now and do what? Get their positions, overpower this, overpower that, and all of those things. And immediately it comes, we are sharing with a frenzy. Why? Because we have some enmities that we want. I mean, we have some scores that we want to settle, but we don't see what effect it has on the larger movement. No, we don't see the overall effect it has on the movement. Whereas one call to Capo Daniel, but whoever received that audio first would have confirmed to you that that was a setup. And we should be able to distinguish between those things that are setups and then those ones that are real things that we need to bother about. This is why we need to foster internal communications. Use all our backdoor channels to communicate to avoid this challenge. We will be able to overcome it if we operate in this fashion. My people, I want to say this. This is something I've said before, and I will repeat it. That anytime you settle for less than you deserve, you will end up with less than you settled for. For those in our midst who continue to collaborate and cooperate and enable the oppressor in the pious hope that you will be recognized, take note. If you are not noted before, note it again today. Today is February 18. Going forward, note it and look at that note every day and remind yourself that Mba Akuro said so today. That anytime you sit and dream that you can get anything ever out of La République du Cameroun, you are ceasing to be human. Because if you are indeed human, with your full faculties to reason, you will understand. I just saw an image, of course, a portrayal of Barrister Agbobala, with him really weeping and crying after Samuel Etofis published the list of all his executive members of ECAFOD. I saw him. I could read him, his tweet, where he was even negotiating virtually on his knees that in the last four, among the last four individuals Eto was given the power to appoint solo, he should at least include someone from Southern Cameroon's extraction, just for the sake to continue putting the dressing at the window, claiming that there is some kind of vivre ensemble going on. Again, he was snubbed. Now, where did Samuel Etofis go to hold that meeting that resulted in that total show of arrogance against the people of the Southern Cameroons? It was at the seaside resort of Victoria, right there in Victoria. And at the end of it all, the chiefs. Chiefs? Well, it's a question I asked. Put him together and gave him a title of peacemaker. Peacemaker? Has Samuel Eto'o ever opened his mouth and said one thing to dissuade the government of La République du Cameroon from pursuing the carnage that they are pursuing in our land? No. Has he ever as much as talked about it? No. On the contrary, he came into Victoria for some photo ops, pretending that everything was all right, everything was calm, only for a closer look at the pictures to reveal that, of course, he was fully guarded from the first to the last minute. So his return to Victoria to do this is not an error. For those who had the opportunity to read European history, as some of us were forced to do, you will recall that when you talk about German unification, you know, the Germans defeated France and proclaimed the German Empire not only in Versailles, but in the House of Mirrors. That is in the house where the French kings, the sacred place of the French kings, that was the height of defiance. So for Samuel Eto'o to come do it right in Victoria, it's like reminding us that as the days are going by, they are not forgetting that they will once more find the opportunity to ask us the question that one of their ministers asked Honorable Joseph Weber, vous allez faire quoi? Why would they ask? Because gradually they are convincing themselves that they will end up subduing us by force, so that we will never ever say again that we were not conquered at war. And this, if they succeed, they will be succeeding with our assistance. Because all of those who continue to enable them on a daily basis should know that all what you are doing is simply contributing towards that kind of outcome. And when Agbobala's tweet went viral, he was asking too many questions, Samuel Eto'o responded. He wasn't silent. He said, football is not a national assembly where everyone comes in. Did you hear that? It did not just end at him arrogantly showing that Southern Cameroon have no business with fake food. Of course, for me, I'm happy. I'm in celebration mode, because normally we don't even have to be there in the first place. We don't have to be there. We don't belong. For those who are claiming relationship with La République du Cameroon, that is a solid reminder from Samuel Eto'o that you don't belong, you have never belonged, and you will never ever belong. How he tells you, football is not the National Assembly where everyone has to be represented. So he's simply saying that when it comes to matters of football, there is no one in Southern Cameroon with any knowledge that has to do anything as far as the football matters of La République du Cameroon is concerned. And that is the same person to whom some misguided fellows calling themselves chiefs in Fako handed a title of peacemaker. The same people call themselves chiefs who handed a title to SDF chairman Frundi, and minutes later the colonial administration warned them, and they had to start calling Frundi to come back quickly and hand back the key of the city of Limbe that was handed to him in recognition of what they considered to have been his contribution to the politics of the country. That is what we are talking about. Anytime you begin doing some of these things, go back. Go back to what Honorable Weber said. And they asked him, vous allez faire quoi? Because they were counting on their forces. Because they were counting on their ability to subdue us. And that is what they are seeking to demonstrate right now. And that is why they laugh and mock at us each time they hear us spend our time talking about mediation, negotiation, instead of whatever process, instead of settling down to make sure we do the hard work that will make negotiations possible at all. My people of the Southern Cameroons, if you think that defiance from Samuel Eto'o was enough, take a look at this. Today is February 18. It's a Friday. Tomorrow is going to be February 19, Saturday, when they are coming again to stage what they provocatively call it the Race of Hope, the Mount Cameroon Race of Hope. They're coming to stage it in our capital city of Buea. And now they are bringing artists to animate the event. Look at the list here. This is in Buea, capital of the Southern Cameroons. Look at the names of the artists here. Toto Guillaume, Bendeka, François Misengo, Nicole Mara, Nomo Flavie, Bukala, La Française, and Kaisa Paquito. They are a bit even more than that, but all of them are citizens of La République du Cameroon. This is a show, a demonstration of force, of colonial force. That ultimate question again to us, vous allez faire quoi? That is the question coming back to us. In Buea, in our capital city, they call it the Race of Hope. While all of that is happening, we're tearing ourselves apart, fighting over virtual power. 3 to 4 governments now for one country that we're yet to actualize. 3 to 4. And I'm not sure it's over just yet. When I raised this alarm in 2017 in January, that government in a liberation movement without a host country, without a country accepting to host it and provide us offices and then protect it and give us a possibility to talk to other governments from their territory was going to be a big mistake and will only lead us down the path of failure. Stones are received have not even ended to date. Because even at this moment, where it is becoming very apparent to us that the idea of a government is moribund, there are still a lot of us out there who are still hanging on to it, still believing that creating a government is the main and most appropriate way of defiance. Hell no. It is urgent right now for us to put our acts together and do the needful, because that is what we must do. Even not for the sake of those on the international community who continue to remind us of the necessity of doing that, but for our people on ground zero who need greater reassurance on a daily basis that we know where we are heading to. My people, just take a listen to these people. If you've never felt insulted, I really feel, hear them.
Vous me connaissez déjà, je suis François Misengo et je vous invite à venir très nombreux au Buea Mountain Club. Ce sera le 18 février 2022 à partir de 20h et ce sera en live. Vous allez écouter toutes les belles mélodies. Il n'y a que l'amour pour nous aimer, pour nous séparer, pour nous faire pleurer. You go.
He speaks. He goes. I just heard him when he was saying you go cry. Is he telling about us that we will cry? My people, where is our pride as Southern Cameroonians? What is coming over us? When you want to talk, some people will point to the fact that, oh, during the AFCON in Yaoundé, on the closing day or sometime in the course of things, they gave room to a lot of Southern Cameroonians to perform. Stop right there. La République du Cameroon, in an afterthought, felt that they needed to bring some of our people to try and send a message to the international community, a veiled message, to pretend that we matter. That was not for us. It was not for Southern Cameroon. It was for the international community. This is where it matters. If you were invited, they would not even do that. So they're doing that here, right now, just so we know, my people, that as a matter of fact, they don't give a damn about our thoughts. They don't care what we think because they are already putting themselves in a mode of saying everything is getting normal and we are going to teach them the lesson of their lives. My people, on the contrary, I still keep hearing the bells of freedom. But we have to do the needful. Listen again to this other one.
Salut, salut, je suis bien Nicole Marat. Je vous donne rendez-vous ce vendredi 18 février 2022 au Mountain Club. I'll be there. I'm coming, boys and girls. So we will enjoy together. I'm coming with you people. Je suis là, je serai bien là. Avec vous.
Just hear that. She's coming to enjoy. When over 1 million Southern Cameroonians are homeless. When over 1 million Southern Cameroonians are living in the forest under mosquito nets, finding it difficult to get even simple tablets to give to their babies and themselves against malaria. Fighting with wild animals in the forest on a daily basis. They are coming to Buea, our capital city, to enjoy. This is insolence. This is the height of provocation. But are we going to respond? Are we going to rise to the occasion?
Vous reconnaissez, oui, je serai ce vendredi 18 à Mountain Club à Buea pour cet événement inédit, l'ascension du Mont Cameroun. Donc il y aura le grand show le soir auquel je vais jouer. Pam, pam, pam.
Le grand show. None of these artists from La République du Cameroun has ever risen to the occasion to decry what happened to Bebe Carol Louise in this same Buea. What happened to Bebe Tato Brandy in Bamenda. To decry what happened to Mami Api. To decry what is happening to our brother No Pity's former girlfriend with her baby in the jails, right in front of them there. None of them. They are coming for the show. If this is happening at this point, ask yourself what it will look like if at the end of the day, I don't want to go to the end of my thought. Because I guess
J'ai pas besoin d'une aventure sans lendemain, laisse-moi tranquille. Oh. Bonjour à vous, je suis Nono Flavie. Cette vidéo, c'est pour confirmer ma présence ce vendredi 18 février 2022 à Buea Mountain Club. C'est à Buea, bien évidemment, pour un spectacle de ouf. Je vous attends nombreux et on va s'amuser jusqu'au bout.
On va s'amuser. Un spectacle de ouf. On va s'amuser. My people of the Southern Cameroons, am I dreaming? Can somebody stop me? Can somebody remind me that I'm not dreaming? That I'm in the real world? These are people who stand and call us their brothers and sisters. If this is how brotherhood or sisterhood is celebrated, I begin to ask myself questions. Whether there is no need, whether it's not necessary to create a new definition for these words in the English dictionary. If you feel the hurt that I feel, you will not sit quiet. You will arise and contribute your voice as we look for a solution to the brouhaha that is before us right now. My brothers and sisters of the Southern Cameroons, this is not the time to stand on the fence because we are all heading towards collective disaster. If we cannot rise to the occasion right now, I begin to tell ourselves some salient truths. Can we for once take our attention away from vain virtual power, and illicit money, and focus that attention on the freedom we seek? Can we for once understand that this is not the time for politics? that it is the time for liberation and take our focus to that which will give us a freedom that we all desire and that we all deserve. My dear people of the Southern Cameroons, it is not so difficult to do right. No, we just need to determine, to convince ourselves that it is the right time to do the right thing. Let me say this. Our liberation movement has not yet derailed. No, it has not derailed, because the fundamentals of this movement are still very strong. But we are fighting very hard to achieve a derailment. If we can't open our eyes to see that it is next to insanity to continue multiplying governments, how many governments for one country? How many? At what level will we stop and say that we are completely off track? Where are all the wise ones in the Southern Cameroons? By our actions and by our attitudes, we are almost going to cause the global community to start asking themselves questions about the validity or the importance of some university, certificates or some degrees. That I find a good lot of us who have gone to school right up to postgraduate level. First degrees, masters, PhDs, and we still do not recognize that we are heading straight towards a rock if we continue to multiply governments. I ask myself, what more level of education is required to let us understand that this is a time for us to stop and do right? Will somebody have to fall from Mars to come and do it for us? My dear people of the Southern Cameroons, if you don't know, let me repeat this. La République du Cameroon right now is bent on continuing to play for time. Because as far as they are concerned, their intention is to continue to set chaos in our midst until it gets to the point where we choke with that chaos, get discouraged by ourselves with the level of chaos that we must have attained, and then we say, no, they are the better option. We say, no, slavery is better than freedom. Hell no. It's a lie. It was a lie yesterday. It's a lie today. It will be a lie tomorrow. And it will be a lie forever. Freedom is not comparable to anything. So my people, let's get up from sleep. Own our liberation movement. You have a right to this liberation movement, just like every one of us, just like every other person. You have a right, and you are also part of the ownership of this liberation movement. Don't sleep in your house and think that they who will do it. No, we must all put our hands on deck. It is time for us to collectively reflect on what path we need to embrace. And like I said before, there was a stage in this liberation movement where things were working. Even if we were not 100%, we were at least 90%. Can't we look back, return to the drawing board, and go back to experiments that worked? Yes, it's possible. And of course, yes, we can do that. To God be the glory.